I'm Silver. It is Monday, June 10th. I just want to say a quick hello to all new viewers and an awesome welcome back must also go to all returning viewers. If you tuned in last time and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. You can actually find me on Ravelry as Silverluna2112, at Silver's Treats on Instagram, and at Silver's Knitting on Twitter. Anyway, how have you all been? I've actually been pretty good. I do have lots to talk to you about, so I should probably get started, right? So just grab your drink of choice, your knitting and crafting, and away we go. Today I'm actually just going to be drinking a nice glass of seltzer water, just to kind of, just because. I think it is orange flavored. Anyway, let me just take a quick drink and we will get started. Okay. Let's start off with FOs. Yes, you guys, I did finish two pretty epic things this week. It's actually been where a lot of my time and energy has gone to. The first one is what I called Stripy Heart. This will get me a grand total of 6,301 yards. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's amazing. I made this blanket with the Granny Stripes pattern by Lucy of Attic 24, and I have been using a bunch of miscellaneous red heart scraps that I've had over the years. This has taken me about a year and 2 months at this point, almost. Oh, I love it. And I have been using a K-hook or a 6.5 millimeter. Oh, you guys, I totally love the way that this blanket came out. And I think my intended recipient will as well. Which is all that really counts, right? The second thing that I did manage to finish this time around was what I called Endurance Test for Quiddy, match number 2. This got a grand total of 1,536.3 yards for Stash Dash as well. The pattern I used on this was the Progression Shawl by Karen, who is the host of Round Its Wrist podcast with Karen. I did use 3 different colors of Miss Babsy Yowza. The first one was Across the Universe, the second one was Sea Teal, and the last color that you haven't seen was a color called Surprisa. Or Surprisa. I don't know how Miss Babs actually wants to pronounce that, but either way, I love the way these 3 colors play together. What do you guys think? I did use a size US 7 4.5 millimeter marbles circs until I got to, the second color, like mid-second color, and then I had to switch over to 60-inch Chaigu needles as well. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at it right now. I absolutely love the way it came out, and it's so big and squishy. Anyway, with those 2 projects, I do now have a grand total of 13,966.1 yards, or 12,770.6 meters total right now, you guys, for Stash Dash. Oh my gosh, we aren't even a month in. Oh, I will have no problem getting to the 15K. What do you guys think? At least the 15K. I'm hoping for a lot more than that, but we'll see. So let's talk what's on the needles now. I did manage to cast on a total of 2 new projects since the last time that we talked. The first one was what I called Hat for EE, or MDI. I am using a pattern that I kind of created myself over the years that kind of fits both MDI and I. I call this my vanilla hat pattern. Basically, you just cast on 96 stitches, do 10 or 12 rows of ribbing, depending on who you're making it for, and stocking it for the rest. I'm actually just going to go ahead and put all of those notes directly on my project page once I finish it. That way you can go ahead and, if you would like to, knit the same. Knit my pattern. Which is really not a pattern, but anyway. I am using a size US 6, which is a 4.0 on 16-inch marble circs. I'm actually currently working on it right now. I am using 2 different colors of the Uptown Yarns ZK, actually what's remaining of the 2 other hats that I made, because MTI saw those colors and said, I want, kind of. It was more like, ooh, pretty colors. But anyway, the colors that I'm using are Peach Smoothie for most of the hat and Tea Party for the brim, for the top of the hat. And this project is actually being housed in my blue TARDIS bag by the Knitted Brimstick. The second thing that did get cast on since the last time we talked which is what I call June 2019's washcloths. I am using Grandma's Dishcloth by PJ Allen all year long for, I'm hoping to get a total of 52 washcloths. So I'm hoping. And all year, I'm going to be using a size US 6 4.0 millimeter on a 24-inch marbles circ. Currently, I'm actually working with Knit Picks Dishy in the Azure colorway, which is a nice deep blue. Oh. And all year long, this project is still going to be housed in my wibbly wobbly, what I call wibbly wobbly TARDIS bag by Addicted to Sock Knitting. There were a few other things that got a bit of love since the last time we talked. The first one is what I called I Can Do the Can You? This is better known as my June 2019's DVD socks. I am using Hermione's Everyday Socks, pattern by Erica Luder. And I am using Desert Vista Dye Works, their Untitled based in the Moulin Rouge colorway. Hence, the project name. Anyway, I am using a size US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter on 9-inch circulars. And the bag that this is being housed in is, as always, my Stained Glass Beauty and the Beast bag by Molly Klein Designs. The next thing that I have been working on is what I called SSDGM and F Politeness. This is the My Favorite Murder mystery wrap by CC Allman. I did finish the second half of the clue number 1, and I did get about 2 rows into the clue number 2 on the first section, only because my brain power kind of went kaput that day. So, but I haven't really picked it back up, which I probably should do, right? The yarn that I'm using on this one is from Suburban Stitcher on her sock base. The colorway is called Triflers Need Not Apply. I love this colorway. Oh my goodness. And I am using a size US 3, a 3.25 millimeter needle. I'll use that for the Epic I-cord cast on. And for the rest of the shawl, I'm using a size US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter needle. Now, we are on this pattern particularly, I do have 2 different sections that I am knitting up, and then we will go ahead and 3 needle bind off the 2 sections together once the clues have been released. And this whole project is actually being housed in my springtime flower bag, or what I call that, by the Fat Squirrel. This is a bag that I got at SSK last year as a pre-order. Oh, I do love this bag. And see, as I am knitting these 2 pieces concurrently, I do have to separate it in the bag. And I've done that by putting my a little Notions bag in. So, have you ever wondered what happens when 2 band nerds get together, get married, and then have a podcast together?
You are talking about our podcast, Music for Two, right?
That's right, hon. It's a monthly show where we sit down at our dining room table, as it is, and take a deep dive into our favorite albums, sometimes with random tangents.
Because I'm a little bit more progressive rock.
And I'm a little bit of everything else. And to be honest, it drives him crazy at times. So, please join me, Silver,
And me, Empty Eye,
on the first Sunday of every month for an audio podcast that will tickle your music-loving heart with good tunes, a bit of analysis, and perhaps a random discussion or 2. All of our show notes can be found at www.musicfor2pod.com. On Twitter, we can be found at musicfor2pod1. We also have a Facebook group as well. And we do have a YouTube channel as Music for Two. Please feel free to go ahead and join us there, or you can subscribe on YouTube to be notified of our upcoming shows. Hope to see you there. Moving right along to Radio GaGa. You guys, I have been paying a lot of attention to 2 different albums this time around, mostly because MTI and I have recorded an episode with these 2 albums. The first one is Permission to Land by The Darkness and Stabbing Mustard's Darkest Days. Oh, It seems like these two albums are very different in taste, but I think you'll like the episode that came out of that. I will link our podcast down below in the description bar here on YouTube and also in the show notes. And speaking of podcasts, I have been listening to the Murder Squad, and That's Why We Drink, and Associates Anonymous. I have yet to catch up on everyone else. Oops. I'll make sure to go ahead and do that before the next time.
Hey everybody, hope you're enjoying the show. We're just gonna hop in here real quick to tell you about another podcast you may enjoy. Our podcast,
Associates Anonymous, the podcast where we kick it with you every Wednesday to discuss the horrors of working in customer service.
If you've ever had the pleasure of working with the public in any capacity, or if you just enjoy hearing all the crazy stories that come with the territory, this is a show for you.
Each week, we dive into a topic and recount a few hilarious and or infuriating experiences we ourselves have had over the many, many years that we have spent in the customer service industry. From insane weirdos to coupons, from Black Friday to shipment, we cover literally all of it.
You can check us out on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or basically wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also follow us on social media at facebook.com/Associates Anonymous, Instagram at Associates Anonymous Podcast, and Twitter at Associates_Anon.
Also, you can submit your own customer service horror stories for one of our monthly listener episodes via social media or by emailing them to us at associatesanonymouspodcast@gmail.com. I'm Sweeps.
I'm Giggles.
And we hope you enjoy Associates Anonymous.
See ya!
Silver's book pile. I have finished a total of 3 books since the last time we talked. The first one was Skin Trade by Laurel K. Hamilton. And the next 2 are actually 2 in a series of 5 different books. The first book was Payback and a Bottle of Merlot by Bria Marsh. And the second one was Insecurity and a Bottle of Merlot. What I am currently reading is the third one in the series, Destiny and a Bottle of Merlot. I do love these books. There's a group of 5 women that get together and they have their own, obviously their little romance stories, but it's all about female empowerment and making sure that each of the main characters can live, by herself or whatever. I'm not doing a very good job of describing these books, but they are amazing. And you had me at a bottle of Merlot, let's be honest. The next thing that I did read this week was a little bit of A Breath of Snow and Ashes by Daniel Gabaldon. And I did read a chapter, maybe 2, of Mount Vernon Love Story by Mary Higgins Clark, which is why it's on the list. And I also read a chapter of Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Menzicalo. This is the one that I mentioned last week, where basically this character goes after Jack the Ripper. And basically by autopsying his victims, I guess. It's interesting so far. I'll let you know more once I finish the book. Silver and the Case of the Screen Time. I have been concentrating on maybe a few things this past week in terms of TV. I have watched a bit of Stargate SG-1. I have watched The Dead Files and Portals to Hell because those are on TV right now. Both of those I think are coming back next week or so. And the last thing also that's gotten a lot of my attention is Doctor Who, because Doctor Who. I have gotten to the 3rd series in the new Who with David Tennant and Marsha. And Freena. David Tennant and Freena. Oh, I love these two. They play well together. And so besides a little bit of TV, I have been watching one podcast pretty much. Like I said, I'm still a little bit behind on every podcast. Ugh. So besides TV, I have been watching a few podcasts. I did catch up with Adore Knits. I also caught up with the Geeky Girls Knit podcast and the Knit Girls. All right, we have come to the end of the road. I am pretty social. You can find me on our Ravelry board, which is Dreamland Podcast. I am Silverluna 2112 there on Ravelry. On Facebook, Silver's Dreamland can be found at www.facebook.com/SilversDreamland. On Instagram, I am Silver's Treats. On Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. I do tend to read through all messages as soon as I possibly can. If you don't hear from me within 24 hours, please feel free to go ahead and email me directly at silversdreamland@gmail.com. And as always, everything that I do talk about can be found on my show notes at www.silversdreamlandpodcast.com. A word of warning, as usual, on Instagram, I cannot see my direct messages on my phone the way it is. I have not been able to update the app in quite a long time, and there are some features like the Instagram TV options that I cannot see as well. So if you are trying to get in contact with me via Instagram, you can go ahead and use that at Silver Streets and it'll get my attention, or you can go ahead and just email me at silverstreamland@gmail.com. I think that's going to be your easiest way, to be honest. Anyway, okay, I have rambled for long enough. I know your time is valuable, so please feel free to go ahead and join in any discussion or start your own on the Silver's Dreamland Ravelry board. I don't bite, I promise. So please stay tuned for episode 74 on the 17th. Until next time, happy crafting!